don't give a fuck, bruh. Fuck it with me, hell.
You almost got me fucked up.
I'm taking LSD and Adderall, heroin and alcohol. Xanax stop my panic, smoking DMT and Marlboro. Baking soda, Coca-Cola, Molly dropping, taking tokes. Speedballs killing friends of mine, my veins is gone, but I'm alive. I'm fucking sucking on a pipe, years and decades off my life, but I don't care, we all gon' die, my spirit leaves, I'm gonna fly. Up to heaven, ask him why didn't you make better shit? Pouring cocaine on a tit, while a bitch is sucking dick. Well, that might be enough for you, and that might be enough for him. I need more highs than pharmacies or kitties on a jungle gym. I wanna get so fucking high, I cannot see out of my eyes, I cannot feel my fucking thighs. All I wanna be is numb, I see right through you fucking gone. I cannot hear a thing you say, it doesn't matter anyway, cause I can't see your fucking face. Melting all the fuck away, falling on the ground today. I'm hearing sirens on the lions, what the fuck, they're coming for me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dangerous Thoughts. It's our Halloween episode, part 1. We're going to have 4 episodes this month that are creepy. And this is the first one. So if you want to join us on Dangerous Thoughts and ask a question for our guest this week, or you can even talk to me and Tyson if you want, write to @SubscriptPirate on X, Twitter. And write to Subscript Pirate, send him a DM, tell him you want to join the show, and we'll put you in a little line, and you can come on and join us on Dangerous Thoughts. Also, you can join our Discord, which will be zooming by later in the show at a bunch of different times, and you can join our Dangerous Thoughts family. As soon as you watch the show, you'll want to join the family. We're good people. And we're dangerous, and it's good to have dangerous people on your side, because it's better than having wimps, right? Okay, so
hey, am I seeing Val is on?
That's Val.
Val's
here. Bruce says
Val's
meow,
here.
which translates to hi. So Val and the cat have joined us. The cat, see, cats. All right. So the topic of the show this week, since it's haunted Halloween, is haunted houses, mediums, eerie, haunted people, demon possession. We're going to get into all that kind of stuff. And we have a special guest, David Oman. Now, David Oman I met in Los Angeles, and David Oman owns the world-famous Oman House, which is a house right next door to the Sharon Tate murder house where Manson and those freaking creepy kids went up and committed all those atrocious murders. And David lives in the Oman House. The Oman House has been visited by countless people, ghost hunted by, some of the biggest names in the field, Ghost Adventures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he's a stud, and he's also a medium. And I'm going to play a little video for David Oman right now, so you get to know a little bit more about him, and then we'll bring him on. So let's shoot away at that video there.
Shooting.
This is David Oman, and David lives in a haunted house. Yeah, we know how that sounds. It sounds nuts, right? Especially considering he doesn't live in anything that looks anything like what people think of when they think haunted house. When people think haunted house, they mostly think this. But David built this really cool place on a hillside in one of the coolest areas of the hills surrounding Los Angeles. It's super modern looking, it's got a great view of Dr. Phil's house, hardwood floors, stainless steel appliances that make you think, come on, that's not a haunted house. But here's the thing. You know that old saying, location, location, location? Yeah, well, it turns out that the land is 200 feet from where some really famous people were murdered in the most sinister way by some followers who followed a guy who really was nuts.
In a scene described by one investigator as reminiscent of a weird religious rite, 5 persons, including film star Sharon Tate, were found dead at the home of Ms. Tate and her husband, film director Roman Polanski.
Yeah, there you have it. David's house is conveniently located on the famous Celio Drive next to the property where the notorious Sharon Tate murders took place. And the crazy thing is, that house was being demolished at the same time David was building his. And David's builders were getting pretty spooked by some pretty spooky stuff during construction.
Hey, I hear these noises, these footsteps and voices upstairs.
I'm alone, at least I'm supposed to be. So I go up and I look and I find nothing. I even came out here and it was nothing.
But one thing about David, he doesn't get spooked by spooky stuff. He gets intrigued. And after hearing and seeing some pretty weird things in his new digs, he put up cameras in every corner of the house he could, rolled tape, and captured his paranormal roommates doing their thing.
My hair got pulled.
What?
I'm not joking, my hair got pulled.
Then after showing the tape to some of the world's most famous paranormal experts, they started showing up, and the house got pretty famous. It's been on TV shows, there was a movie based on it, and people caught on and wanted to take tours and have seances. But then it gets even weirder because the more digging he did, the more creepy the story of the house and the circumstances surrounding it were. So we're going to give the lovers of the paranormal a pretty awesome top-to-bottom spirited look at one of the most active locations on Earth. Because the truth is, David really does live in a haunted house. And it's pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome for you, David. Here's David Oman, by the way. Pretty awesome for you. It's terrifying for me, man. How do you live there every single night?
Very well.
Pretty
By the way, I'm not a medium. I don't know where that came up. I'm a large. I'm not a fucking medium. Do I look like a medium? I'm a
You know
large.
what he does? You know what he does? He puts on a T-shirt made of fly paper, and as you can see, they all stick to him.
Oh.
So
all
the ghosts are stuck to him. That's how he gets them out.
This is my Ghost Magnet shirt. You see?
There you go.
There's a guy that I can really get into.
So
No.
was there? Did you think? Was there any thought to where you were building this house and how close it was to that devastating event with Sharon Tate and Abigail Bolger and all those poor people?
All right, there are 5 people, but to be honest with you, we'll
I
say
said all those poor people.
poor people. All right, but
They were rich people, but I know whatever.
no. To be honest with you, to answer this question, I've been asked lots of times about this.
Yeah.
No, I had absolutely no. First of all, I'm not a devotee, and I'm not a super big fan of Sharon Tate. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that's not me. The honest to God's truth is how it is that I live here is the fact that pure dumb luck. To be honest with you, was late November Sunday morning. My father, 1998. My dad calls me up and woke me up 8 a.m. and says, "David, get up." And it's like, "Dad, what's that?" He goes, I found a listing in the LA Times classified section. It's a lot in Beverly Hills for $40,000.
Wow.
And I said, "Dad," and this is before the internet. Basically, there's no, you had the LA Times classified, so he's looking through the LA Times classified. And I said, "Dad, the listing in the paper says 40K, right?"
Must
I said,
be
it's
two
a
zeros.
typo. I said, "It's a freaking typo." I said, "There's no lots in Beverly Hills for $40,000, Dad." I said, "Come on, let's be serious." He goes, "No, it's not." I said, "Fine, I'm already awake." So I said, "All right, fine, let's go." So I drove up there and I met him up here at this piece of real estate, this lot. And I remember looking down the street and there's a chain link fence and there's construction going on down there. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't been here in 20 years. Because back in high school, when I was a freshman, we used to go up to see the Tate property.
Yeah, that was part of the creepy thing to do, right? Go up and drink and take a peek around.
Well, we all read the book Helter Skelter.
Yeah, I read it too.
We knew where the place was. Let's go. So I went with a caravan of a bunch of people up here. And we used to come up here. And I remember the very first time and every time I came here, I would sit there, I'd walk up to the fence. And before I started drinking or partying with my friends, I bowed my head and I said, I got to pay my respects to those who died on this property because it was so horrific. I felt compelled to, show respect to them. And it was just like, it was strange because it felt the vibe up here was like strange. And the fact is I remember there were newspapers in front of the fence that were sitting there. They were like mildewy and rain soaked and just dried up, piled up on the edge of the fence. And so, oh wow, no one's living here. So literally, I miss my. I got news for you, Val. I now barbecue. I'm making tonight my favorite, latest concoction: prime rib roast. I love it. So it makes barbecue baby back ribs look like a gosh darn complex ordeal. Because on
I bet you Sharon Tate and Abigail and all of them are gonna love it.
Oh, I've made around 8, 9 different roasts now because I discovered them when they were on sale over at the Ralph's. And I like buy a 10-pounder. I've got a few frozen even. I put them on the rotisserie, and that's it. You walk away, and 2 hours later, you come in.
Oman, I'm here to talk about your haunted house, not your cooking.
I mentioned the guys trying barbecue, so I had to answer Val. So in any event, so we bought the lot, and for $40,000, it was a foreclosure. As it turned out, he was right.
Wow.
And it was like my dad's a designer, builder, and an architect. And he goes, we're going to build a house here. We're going to build your house here. And I said, what? He goes, it's going to be sweat equity, basically, but you're going to put in time to build the house. He said, no more renting. I said, you've been renting for for enough years. It's enough. It's going nowhere.
Had you had any paranormal experiences before you moved into this place?
I'll have to be honest. When I was a kid, me and the neighborhood kids I grew up with, we always were looking around for ghosts. Always going to like burned out homes. Yes, Jay, so do I. And in about 3 hours, we'll be serving up a nice 5-pounder tonight. But in any event, do I digress? No more. So, no, I had experiences around my parents' house of just, like I said, as a kid, we used to look around for haunted houses and stuff. But I remember just feeling it around, just knowing that it's there. I mean, you could just have the sense of like deja vu and stuff like that happened as a kid. I was thinking to myself, wow, that can't be a coincidence, can it?
So watching the video when you moved in, some of it, I saw that some of these people that were working on the house were having paranormal experiences right from the get-go. Tell me about one of them.
Yeah, well, during construction, it was like myself personally, I'd be walking around the different flights and the different levels of the house, and it was uncanny. It's like a lot of the guys that were working on the house were pranksters, so they would come up behind you and like spook you. So I got accustomed to that type of like prankishness that happened. And I remember walking around the house a few times and it's like, yeah, there's no one there. But it felt like you could feel the presence of somebody coming and closing the space between your body and their body, and they're about to like spook you and scare you. Happened a lot of times here at the house during the construction. And also the laborers were complaining to me saying, David, did you come by in the late night after we all left and move the tools? I said, why would I go around? And he goes, no, the air hammer is missing. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, it was on the 3rd floor we were working to put in the flooring there. And all of a sudden, it's not there the following day. And we find it the next day in the closet on the 2nd floor.
Oh, weird.
And I was like, so 6 months before we were done, I sent some of my contract laborers right over there where now it's the dining room. And I said, look, we're done with you guys. You guys are off the job. We're now going to the finishing stages of the house, putting the carpet, the light fixtures, the marble and the vanities and all that stuff is going in. And I said, I just got to ask you guys, you've been working on this job for 2 years now. Have any of you guys had any strange experiences you want to relate to me before you guys are off the site? And one guy goes, yeah, I had a strange experience about a year ago. Middle of summer, mid-July, 6 o'clock, 85, 90 degrees outside, and I'm the last guy working. I'm on the 3rd floor. Now, mind you, the top floor, oh, I can show you pictures. Hold on one second. Let me show you.
All right. Well, David goes off and digs for pictures. I will also tell you, David has written a book I'm going to ask him about soon called Ghosts Seattle Drive. Okay, let's see the pictures because I'll move on to that next. These are pictures of what? Of early construction?
Well, this is the actual property. As you can see here, Here, I'll show you guys. We'll do it like this, right in the front, right. So
Yeah.
this picture is when we bought the lot. As you can see, there's
Just
a house.
an empty
There's a house
lot.
here.
Yeah.
This is the lot. This is how it looked when we got it. After we started developing it and clearing off the hill, you can see the trenches. We dug those trenches out and exposed the rebar, and the 13 caissons that were here on the property. So as you can see, this is the street level. So the first floor is here, second floor is here. This is the third floor where it stands now. That's to give you an idea. So during the construction, he was on the third floor working down below. He says, I hear voices and footsteps coming from the top floor. So he comes up the spiral staircase. He says, Senor Paul, Senor David, ¿dónde está? Thinking it's me and my dad. He goes, there's no one here. He then goes out onto the driveway and he looks up and down the driveway, empty. And he says, I don't get it because there's not a single car here. So he says, I go back downstairs and I figured I must have been hearing some of the neighbors talking. So he goes back downstairs. He starts working. 5 minutes later, here's the sound of voices and footsteps again coming from the
Footsteps on the staircase or on the third floor?
Top floor. Now,
Okay.
Now the setup is you've got the top floor. Then at this point, you've got 2 balconies, and in between the 2 balconies is an 8-foot wide by 8-foot deep and by 30-foot downward stairwell.
So you could hear up there. Yeah.
So you can hear everything on the top floor going down the stairwell and into the third floor. The third floor has got 11-foot high ceilings, and it opens right up from that stairwell, goes down right into the room. It opens straight in. So he goes running upstairs again, and he says, he looks around, nothing, not a thing.
Yeah.
So that's it. He goes, I'm getting the fuck out of here. He goes downstairs, starts packing his bags up. As he's packing his bags up, he says he starts hearing the sound of footsteps coming down the spiral staircase. And at the time, we only have these 4x8, 4x12 pieces of wood that are in the staircase and the stairs going down. And he says, it's strange because it's not the sound of muffled footsteps. It's the sound of a leather-soled shoe hitting the tread. And he goes, he's heard the sound before because the other guys don't have tennis shoes. They're wearing these leather-soled shoes themselves. The dress type of shoes. He's heard my father come down the steps and he hears that sound. So he says, he gets in the room and he's sitting there like 15 feet away from the landing. And he goes, the sound is getting louder and louder as these footsteps are coming to the bottom of the landing. He goes, they stop. So he rushes out and he looks at the bottom of the landing. There's nothing there, he said, nothing at all. But then it happens. He says, he describes this like this ice cube, like a 2-inch band wide piece of ice that goes whizzing across slowly below his hairline and above his shoulder blades, just slowly going across his back. And he goes, as it's going across the back of his neck, he says he got all rigid and the hair started standing up all over his body. And he screams out, "Ados míos, ya me boy." Translate from Spanish, it means, oh my God, I'm leaving. He didn't come back for 6 freaking weeks. You have to excuse my hoarse voice. And he says to me, he says, that's why I didn't come back. He goes, but I did come back after 3 weeks. After 6 weeks, I realized I didn't get paid for the prior 3 weeks. And I said, wait a second. That's when you told the other guys you were taking care of your mother who was in San Salvador sick as a dog. He goes, yeah. I said, oh shit, I remember this because you were the person that was doing the tile to put into the master bathroom. Now he had done the entire single freaking house and put all the tiles in except for the master bathroom. So after a week, I said, when's he coming back? We don't know. After 2 weeks, I said, that's it. I'm tired. I'm going to do it myself. I put in the natural stone tiles in the master bathroom myself. And I'll be honest with you. When he came back and he looked at the job, he goes, "Ados míos." Oh my God. He goes, "¿Qué pasa?" I said, I told him, I got sick and tired of waiting for you. I had to do it myself. And he goes, "Imposible," which means, he goes, "Ados míos." Oh my God. He goes, "This is terrible." Oh, he goes, "I can't believe this. It's impossible."
Yeah.
He says, these are natural stones. He goes, the other stones are all the same freaking stone because they're fake. But when they're natural, they have a natural grain and pattern. So you're supposed to lay them out and to come up with a pattern that's there naturally occurring. And he goes, and all you did was take one out of the fucking box and put it in. I go, yeah, I didn't know. He goes, yeah, it looks like, you got a vein going this way, it costs one. The one below it's going this way, and it should have been this way to this way, making a nice. He goes, oh God. He goes, not to mention, he goes, did you use the space? I said, I use the space. He goes, not really well, did you? Because he goes, some of them are like this, some of them like this. He goes, some are higher than the others. So he goes, impossible. He goes, he says, I'll take it. I said, no, forget it. It's too late.
Yeah. The ghost scared you away. So
people don't believe my story. Come with me into the master bathroom. Look at the tile and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
why you did it?
When was the first time you started to experience paranormal events in the house?
Within the first couple of days, when I moved
Really?
in, I could just feel, oh yeah, when I brought the dogs and everybody moved in, me and the cats, on the 1st of September or the 30th of August, 2002, it was just like, and I'll tell you what it was. Forget what I personally experienced, it was what the pets personally experienced.
Yeah. They can perceive things we can't.
Oh, you bet your ass. And my first two dogs, my Ridgeback Sebastian and my Street Mutt Stella, they were picking stuff up. I mean, I could see that there was just like this weirdness about, they'd been on the job site during construction. So finally it was like taking around stuff. It was like when we moved in, it was like Sebastian started barking at the front door. So I figured, I've got company. I opened the door. There's no one there. And I'm like, he only barks when there's a threat to the home or somebody's at the front door. Otherwise, he doesn't bark. So it was just stuff like that. And then I try to think of exactly when.
It doesn't matter exactly when, but I'm just wondering, like, how early and
early. I mean, I knew. Look, during construction, I knew. So it's like I was here every day, and it was like I just felt like, all right, you're here. And it was not like, ooh, and we're trying to scare you. It's like I knew they were here. You just feel it. It was just that type of like. I mean, here's an example. I'm walking down the hallway. The place is brand spanking new. And I turned around and I swear to God, I saw like somebody walking into the guest bedroom. And I was like, and it was just like, it's always out of the corner of your eye that you'll see the shadow or you see an image of something whizzing by. I was like, I missed it. And after I said, I can't deal with it. I said, I called them and I said, I can see you. I know you're trying to be obsequious and obscure, like we're like being so sly and slick. And I'm like, I saw that. And that's how I basically treated it. It was like, yeah, I don't live alone. I live with spirits. And if they want to sit there and play these games, I'm going to call them out on it because I don't like being toyed with.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just don't like being toyed with. So I just called him out. That was it.
So I remember because when I met David, I came to one of his parties where there was a bunch of mediums and psychics and paranormal investigators. And I think Jimmy Church was over there doing his radio show. And
that's how we met. That's right.
Yeah. And we had a seance that night that literally brought me to tears where my grandmother came through and it literally brought me to tears. So it's a powerful house for not only the people the ghosts of Cielo Drive, but I think for all spirits, there's something about that place. Tell me, I know that there's something about the there's a magnetic anomaly in the area, right?
Yeah, well, the way the house was structurally designed by the structural engineer, he added 4 steel I-beams under two floors. So 2 steel I-beams supporting the 3rd floor, connected to 3 steel columns that are embedded in the gray beams that are part of the foundation, and 2 steel I-beams supporting the 2nd floor in the same fashion with 3 steel columns holding that up. And what it's created is this gigantic magnetic, like a bear's cage. And that's my friend Eric. So if you guys hear the sound of footsteps or anything, that's him. Hi, Eric.
So So do you live in an HOA? Is that whole area HOA, or is it
What's
No,
HOA
good.
mean?
homeowners association?
I mean, there is an HOA up here, but it's like, it's not something like, when you say HOA, it's usually referring to a condominium consortium of sorts. No, we don't pay any dues to a homeowners association.
Well, here's the reason I ask, and it's just for my own edification. I as you can see here, I really love radios, ham radios, and if you live in an HOA, they don't let you put antennas up on your roof because it does.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it makes the other neighbor, it makes the neighborhood look crappy. I don't know. I love antennas.
It's an aesthetic issue. Yes, I know that. I know the story about ham radio antennas.
So you don't have to worry about an HOA. You can put up as many antennas as you want if you wanted to.
Yes, I could. But
David's entire house is
an antenna. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's kind of where I was going with that, because antennas resonate at a certain frequency, right? And we've talked about the paranormal, and I'm wondering if certain areas, just geographically where it is, the way it was designed. I know this is going to sound hokey, but think of Ghostbusters, right? Remember in Ghostbusters, they say that particular floor, it was built, the architecture, it resonated at a certain frequency and I'm wondering, all joking aside, all sci-fi aside, if that house, I'm looking at the way it's very modular, it's got the I-beams, crisscrossing. You said it was almost like a Faraday cage, which would be the opposite of resonant. It would be trapping things inside as opposed to letting energy out. That's what Faraday cage does, is it doesn't let anything in or out.
Well, from my understanding, I mean, I use the term as the Faraday cage. I mean, as a Ferris, what did I say? The Faraday cage is the fact that it's not technically a Faraday cage. It is just, there's a high amount of electromagnetic energy that's contained in the house as a result of the steel type of box that is there on the second and third floor. And we've noticed that with the staircase being a 30-foot wrought iron spiral staircase, it almost acts like a giant coil in a battery.
Oh, wow. So, my lady's a big fan of Ghost Adventures. She loves Zach and all those guys. And I know that those guys did a investigation on your house.
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago now, huh? So, and I also know that there's a couple people, this is a two-part question. What was it like having those guys investigate your house? And two, were they cool guys back then? And three, what was I just thinking? Three, fuck.
No, I won't. Sorry, that I can answer right now. No,
I'm answering that. All right. Well, answer those.
I'm answering the first two questions, as while I'm answering them, you'll remember the third, I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. First, let me say to Katie, no, Tess passed away, 15 years ago now, in 2008. But yeah, she was an example of one of my pets who dealt with the paranormal quite well and had the experiences. All right, to answer your question, yes, Zach and Aaron and Nick were here early September of 2013, shooting Ghost Adventures. They were here for 4 days. Well, they weren't here. The show was here for 4 days. The first day comprised of my interviews and showing them off the house. Second day, as I recall, were interviews with other people. The third day was B-roll and the I want to call them the video stunts that they pulled off with the pregnant girl clutching her pregnancy.
They're whatever they're called.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want to call it. They're
reenactments.
They're dramatizations.
So
and then the fourth day, the fourth day was the actual lockdown.
Yeah.
So on the fourth day when they were here, I was like, well, finally get to meet, Zach, Nick, and Aaron. And, I'm always curious about meeting these individuals to see what they really are like. And I'll never forget, because I said to Zach, finally get to meet him, I said, look, I know as a producer, I know you guys are busy as fuck. You have a schedule. Why don't you guys come by tomorrow night? And I already talked to the producer. He said you guys were in LA from Vegas for a few days. Why don't you come by tomorrow night? We'll barbecue, we'll shoot the shit, and I'll fill you on the story of the real, the house, and we'll talk openly and more about the house since I know you're on a shoot schedule. Zach's dressed in his leather pants and his leather jacket and his slick back Elvis Presley hairdo. And he goes, "Oh, I can't, man. I got a chick flying in from out of town."
That's fun.
And I'm like,
come on, man.
"You're
What
the
about-
Vegas guy. I
Yeah.
can fly to Vegas at the drop of a hat for 50 freaking bucks. Come on."
yeah. And you were about to give him the whole scoop on all the
So I
stuff.
just said,
because-
okay. So I didn't even bother asking Aaron or Nick, saying to them, saying, "Well, you're not attached at the hip like Siamese triplets. Let
Well-
me ask you guys." So I didn't bother asking Aaron or Nick, and I was a fool. I just said Nick.
Yeah. If I remember on the show, they discovered a couple things, and I think one of them even got really sick and had to leave, right?
What you see on the show that aired is a little bit of a misrepresentation of the true facts.
Okay.
Thing was,
Ooh, we get the deets, the behind the scenes. That's what I wanted to hear. That's the whole reason I'm here.
We get some of the tea. We get some of the tea.
well, the non-conform was it non-disclosure agreement's expired now, so I can talk.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
My point was what didn't make sense to me was seeing what really happened, which was so palpable and interesting. Why they didn't go with it and use it, which I'm going to say to you, tell you the truth of what happened. You go, why didn't they use it? They did worse stuff now. At 9:00, right before they started the show, I go to the top of the stairs, the investigation. I go to the top of the stairs, and I just felt compelled to say, "Spirits, I know you want to fuck them up. I know you want to rattle their brains and kick their asses. I know you hate their guts. I know you're furious at them. Please don't hurt them. I beg of you, please leave them alone. Don't hurt anyone." Producer, I walk away, and the producer says, "What the hell was that?" I said, "What do you mean, what was that? What do you think, this was some kind of an act?" I said, "I'm pleading for your gosh darn asses not to get tortured." I said, "I am so scared because the night before when you did that pregnancy of Sharon Tate, I took a series of photos of her, the actress, and in one of them, there's a ball of white light that I can't explain coming right out of her stomach like this."
Oh, wow.
I said, "The rest of the pictures are fine, but there's one picture," I said, "she's not wearing anything reflective. And the fucking lights are not behind her. They're in front of her to illuminate her. And if they were behind her, you'd see nothing but a silhouette." And they said, "You're serious?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, I had basically ill feelings about that whole story being told because I don't believe it. It's a fraud. It's not true. And you went with it. So
who captured in the opening video of your intro? I saw an orb floating down your hallway. Who captured that?
that was on the video camera that we had, the standard def camera that we had from like 10 years ago on the hallway. On the
And you have your whole house still, every single room on camera, 24 hours rolling 24/7, right?
Yeah, we have 30 cameras inside and outside the house that run 24/7.
Okay, that's wild. Okay, so we've been chatting away. I haven't had a chance to play some more videos, so I'm going to show you guys a couple more things. David produced
finish up with the Baggins thing. I'll wrap it up quickly. So
Yeah.
they go, he goes, "I want you to do it again." I said, "Well, there's a PG version for TV." I'm like, he goes, "I want you to go back to the stairs and do that." He goes, "Yeah." So I did the PG version, which you see on the show. I then went outside the house and they said, "All right, roll them." All the equipment failed.
That's awesome.
They said, "Oh, David," he goes, "we have a problem." I said, "What?" He goes, "All the batteries are dead on the cameras. And even the backups that are in the van are all dead. We're going to have to set aside this shoot for an hour, recharge all the batteries." And I'm like, and so it began.
So what is your theory that why does that happen all the time?
It doesn't happen all the time.
No, with spirits, they tend to drain batteries. They tend to.
When they want to let their presence, I personally believe that when they are in a mood of irritation, on some level, it's either they're irritated, or it's something on the forcing on over the line, so to speak, where it's, every day is fine. But it's those occasions where somebody is a little bit offensive, a little bit disrespectful, a little bit of an irritant, that they're like, these people are having problems with us. Let's let them know what our real problem is. And they'll drain their batteries. And then what? They leave the house and they go down the hill. Batteries are fine.
I'm curious how a spirit. I am an alive person who's very much into electronics, and the only way I know how to drain a battery is to use it or to short it out, in which case it would get hot and or spark. But I do not know how to make all the energy. I don't know how to take all the energy out of a battery without it getting hot. And yet spirits, and these are actors and actresses in that area that died. I'm sure they didn't have an electronics degree. How would a spirit know how to drain a battery? I'm trying to think how a spirit could go to an electronic device. And by the way, in their day, lithium-ion batteries weren't a thing, right? So how do they know how to do it? I believe you that they do it. I just don't know how they know how to do it.
This is my theory. Now hold on to your horses, kids. When you die, you get this.
The guidebook to
Beetlejuice. That's one of my favorite. I love it.
I was like, you're not electronics engineers. Well, what the hell? We're ghosts. We get one of these and we figure out what to do because we have the handbook. We read the handbook.
That was one of my favorite parts of all of Beetlejuice, and but aren't they making another one? I think Beetlejuice 2 is coming.
Oh, I hope
40
so.
years later, do you really want to see it?
Of course, I love
Jeffrey's
that.
still in jail, Ed Rooney's still in jail for pedophilia peddling,
Well, it's Hollywood. At least Batman's
I'm not interested in seeing a grown-up Winona Ryder play the freaking part and recreate, what's her face, the character. I forgot her name off the top of my
Glad
head.
I didn't bring up Jeepers Creepers. My goodness.
Yeah, I want
to. Jeepers is not 40 years later. The remake, the sequel is 37 years later.
It's such a good movie, though.
It was a good movie, but you're a little late to the party. Coming 38 years later. Here we go. God, how much makeup? Not much. He looks dead.
Keaton looked great in the Batman suit. I'm going to see Beetlejuice.
I love Batman with Keaton. They should have kept him a long time of it.
Yeah. All right.
He was my favorite. Yeah.
David has done a couple things recently. He made a movie called The House at the End of the Drive.
Just House at the End of the Drive. More recently is this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Ghosts of Cielo Drive, because I'm actually very interested in that.
I'm not the Ohio State. I'm just Oman, the Oman. But the book is Ghosts of Cielo Drive. The book is House at the End of the Drive.
Yeah. Well, okay, this is interesting to me because there's the Sharon Tate murders. Everybody knows about Manson. Everybody knows about those things. What are these other Ghosts of Cielo Drive? Tell us a little bit about who else lived there and why there's some other hauntings here.
All right. First of all, the house, according to Dr. Barry Taff, is the Mount Everest of haunted houses and the Disneyland for the dead. So by that estimation, had the murders not taken place 150 feet down the street, this place would still be off the charts haunted. That's why they call it the Mount Everest of haunted houses and the Disneyland for the dead, because we have so much activity. Because as we were speaking about, let's go to a place where you'll understand this really great, Tyson. The house has recorded 4,000 milligauss positive DC EMF level to 4,000 milligauss negative DC EMF levels.
Tell me what that means, Tyson.
It means a lot of electricity, electron bolts, electron. Shit be happening.
Okay.
All right, I'll
in layman's terms.
But normal is between 300 and 500 milligauss positive is normal in most locations on the Earth. This house has something like 10 to 20 times the Earth's magnetic field positive to 10 to 20 times the Earth's magnetic field negative.
And it circulates. It goes back and forth.
And then it shifts throughout the entire house. It's not constantly like just there. It's moving in pockets. And I mean,
have you talked to any scientists about why or how, or does anyone understand this phenomenon at all?
The person who spoke most intelligently about it was Dr. Barry Taff, a parapsychologist who worked at UCLA in the 70s with Dr. Thelma Moss. He said when he reported it back in 2005, when he came out here 18 years ago with his instruments, he says it's impossible because these numbers are off the charts. And he theorized that when people walk in the house, that the spirits that are around each and every one of us get into this environment, they manifest much more easily because the electromagnetic fields are so elevated. It means that they can manifest off the energy that's here in the ambient in the ambient area.
I think when that bastard Thomas Edison was talking about making a machine to talk to the other side, he talked about that specifically, actually.
Telephone to the dead, yes, that's what he was trying. Well, I don't know about specifically, but I have a feeling that Edison, that was probably one of the only things that Edison really created himself.
Yeah.
So everybody that worked at Menlo Park was hired under him, and everything patented under Edison was created by other people that worked under his tutelage or under his title, under his company's heading, his corporation.
Yeah.
And my apologies to the both of you. I've, for the last week and a half, been suffering a horrible flu. So you'll see me blow my nose or take a pill or take my
if you die
gallon of Dayquil. That's why.
If you die on the show, will you do something paranormal for us? So this is like a real episode.
I will.
Do something,
ratings
and whatnot. Yeah. Just
famously, Houdini said, Houdini, when he died, before he died, said, "Look, if there is a way to come back from the dead, if there is a way to let you guys know that I'm here, I will find it and I will do it."
97 years ago, come the 31st of this month.
I don't know, and maybe he has. Maybe he's come back, and maybe he has, taken ice cubes on people's necks or done other things to let people know he's there. But I mean, unless you can Voldemort write your name in the air, I don't know how people would know if it was him or not, right?
Well, I live in this house right now where Val's grandma passed away just a year and a half ago, and we have a lot of phenomenon with the lights, and she seems to speak to us, and we have a lot of bangs, a lot of really loud bangs in the middle of the night that are unexplained. A lot of weird shit going on there. So what's your theory, David, on what is this plane between the here and now, where we're plugged into the juice and we're human and we have this energy in us, and after we die, why are these ghosts trapped? Why haven't they moved on? Or do all ghosts? What's your theory on ghosts and what they are?
I don't ascribe to any of that. And I don't have much of a theory about it, but I know one thing's for sure, that anything that human beings have created is just that. It's something a human being has theorized. Absolutely baseless, pointless. You can basically throw it out with the garbage. It's meaningless. Why do I say that? Here's why I say that. Because I think that a lot of what humanity has tried to do, going back to the ancients, to the Greeks, to the Babylonians, to the Romans, was kind of rationalize out what happens when you die. But as what the Egyptians said, or what Shakespeare said, it's the oldest question to humanity: what happens when you die? And it will never be answered as such. So
but if you think about how many humans have lived from the time of Earth until now, remember there's something like 8 billion people on the planet right now. 100 years from now, all 8 billion of those people will be dead, and there'll be a new probably 9 or 10 billion. 100 years from then, they'll all be dead. So through the history of Earth, there has been trillions of humans that have lived and died.
Yes.
That's trillions of spirits
that
are either
becomes a ghost.
I think of that Twilight Zone episode where everybody's pushed up against the glass. It's like, how many spirits can possibly fit in a jar, right? I mean, there would be billions all over the place, unless they left the Earth. But if they're still here, then there's trillions, right?
That's what I wonder. Are they an echo? Are they actually in another plane of existence, living out their life in a different way? Are they trapped because of the way
they're not trapped? Stop saying the word trapped. You paint a picture that is so false and so.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm asking.
They're not trapped. There's no sense of, they're reliving their experience. Bullshit.
In Ghostbusters they get trapped, but otherwise no, they're not trapped.
Here's another one of that. I heard that.
So they just come for a visit.
Exactly. There's the idea that they're trapped. They're reliving the tragic end of their life. Let me ask you.
It's a horrible idea.
It's not. It's just criminal to sit there and to say, yes, that's how you die. You're going to be living that for the rest of your goddamn eternal life. How tragic would that be?
That would be. I'd be pretty pissed at God if that was the way things worked.
It doesn't. Trust me. And from what I've seen, look, I saw Jay Sebring's apparition some 18 years ago. He wasn't all blood and guts. He wasn't all shot up. He didn't look terrible as he did the day he died. And furthermore, he wasn't wearing those god-awful striped jeans he was wearing when he was killed.
You're talking about...
They might have been in fashion 54 years ago, but boy, were they fucking ugly.
So you're talking about the hairdresser that was killed by the Manson kids,
Karen's
right?
ex-fiancé, yes.
Jay Sebring. You saw him.
I saw his full body apparition in the corner of my bed, yes. And he wasn't all shot up.
Was he laying in your bed or was he standing at the corner of your bed?
In most religions, there is this.
Oh, Mom, you dirty boy, you. No, he was standing up in front of my bed, turning and pointing towards the property next door.
Oh, wow.
I told you. No. Again, you want to read about it? Get the book.
Yeah, yeah. So
hold on a second.
Hold on. Wait a second. He's plugging his book. I want to let him plug his book because it's a cool book. Ghosts of Cielo Drive. How do you get it? Where do you get it?
It's at ghostsofcielodrive.com. That's
Okay.
the place I have right now. I'm working on getting it up on Amazon.
I got to get it on Amazon.
Okay, so at ghostsofcielodrive.com, is that right?
Yes.
Ghostsofcielodrive.com.
Ghosts, plural, yes.
Okay.
It's in the video description below down there.
Rock and roll. And can you get also? So David also did a movie based on.
Yes, we're still trying to find a nice home for it on some television network.
Yeah. By the way, if you're out there and you're a distributor, this is a cool horror movie that David has made about some of his experiences and a little bit of fiction, a little bit of fact, and it's a kick-ass movie. So we're gonna play a scene from the house at the end of the drive.
House at the end, not the house, please.
Oh, sorry. House at the end of the drive. We're going to play a scene from that right now.
We have a weird homicide.
In a scene described by one investigator as reminiscent of a weird religious rite, 5 persons, including film star Sharon Tate, were found dead at the home of Ms. Tate and her husband, film director Roman Polanski. Ms. Tate, who starred in Valley of the Dolls, was 8 months pregnant and was found stabbed multiple times in a white nightgown with a rope around her neck attached to the body of a man.
2 bodies inside, 2 bodies outside.
Among the other victims were Hollywood hairstylist Jay Sebring and coffee heiress Abigail Folger. Authorities would allow no one in an unofficial capacity to enter the posh Benedict Canyon property in the hills which overlook Los Angeles. When police arrived, they found the telephone and power lines cut. The bodies had been dead for about 12 hours. They were discovered this morning by the maid who ran screaming to neighbors. One officer summed up the murders when he said, "In all my years, I have never seen anything like this before."
19, go ahead.
Adam 19, confirm multiple homicides at Beaumont location. Request detectives and coroner's unit, code 3.
Copy 19. Do you request ambulance unit?
Negative, coroner only. We got a real bloodbath up here. Never seen anything like it.
Copy. Detectives and coroners.
Wow.
I think I saw that in Sunday school once. Yeah.
Which one are we talking about? The movie? I hope not.
Well, Sundays, the Bible can get pretty creepy. Hey, so David, I got another question for you. Everybody should check out House at the End of the Drive. Hopefully we can get that on Netflix or Amazon or something available.
Sell it to somebody, Mono, please.
I actually watched the film. It's a great film, and I saw it on David's screening room with the whole 3D surround sound, and it's quite good. And
it's a good movie. Look, it's not an Academy Award winner, but it's a good film.
No, but it's a great film, especially for the budget that you guys spent. It's a high production value, and it's a great film. In fact, that trailer doesn't do it justice.
That's the first 4 minutes of the film.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't do it justice because there's some really really well shot scenes in that film. What else did I want to talk about? I didn't want to show.
Wait, dumb shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Next Saturday night.
Did you just call me a dumb shit?
No, I meant me dumb. I forgot that the 21st of October and the 4th of November we're going to be having ghost hunts here at the Oman House. 3 ghosts and legends. So go to theomanhouse.com. It has the link to get tickets. It's next Saturday and then 3 weeks from today or last night.
Yeah. So if you have the guts and the will to go check out the Oman House, and have a paranormal experience for yourself, go to theomanhouse.com. He has events like this all year round. And
I haven't had events like this since pre-COVID. This is the first paranormal event we've had here in 3 years now.
Bring the kids. It's just like Easter egg hunting.
Yeah. But you never know. You could have something creepy happen to you. And go to theomanhouse.com. There's also a lot of other cool stuff to look at that website.
These are pictures of a ghost. This is from 2004. I'm trying to get it so you don't have
what is that blue thing streaking across the middle there?
We don't know. That was a ghost. Because if you see the gentleman there with the video camera, he was shooting at me as I was taking the picture. We reviewed the footage. There was nothing there in front of the camera when that picture was shot with 35 millimeter high-speed film. Then there was this. Here, let me just take it out of the cast iron plastic. It's easier to see it that way. You guys see that fog there?
Oh, yeah.
That shouldn't be there. That's, again, with 35 millimeter, 800 speed film. And if I go close in, you can actually see the detail. You can see through the fog to see the outline of the pillow, the open purse, everything. I mean, I can even go zoom in that close.
Wow. That is so strange.
That shouldn't be there. And those two burns, if you notice, they stop. They don't carry over. They're not anywhere here. There's just above and nothing there. And that's on the negative. And then there's this doozy that was shot in front of the gate that same night. Again, is a piece of shit camera. We shot this.
The same thing? No way. Come on.
Yeah.
That blue thing.
And you can see through it. Look, I'll get really close to it. And you can see that it's translucent, meaning you can see right through it at points.
Yeah.
The most shocking thing that I see is that you were able to find 35 millimeter film in this day and age with everything being digital.
18 years ago.
This was 18 years ago.
Oh, that's why.
And you can.
I'm having a little tonic to help with the sickness, so I apologize.
It's all right. If you die in the
this
show,
is 19 years ago. This is 2004. The 35th anniversary of the murders is when those were shot.
Okay, we have some other videos to show of things that happened at your house.
Sure, go for it.
I think we also have some people that wanted to ask questions. How many people do we have lined up?
We have 4 people lined up. And we have one special guest that hasn't been on our show yet.
Really so we've gone overtime. Can you handle another 15 minutes, David?
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. So let's bring on some people to ask some questions. Whoever is in line first.
All right. So
I'm excited about our first guest.
I'm going to
Guys,
go ahead and
see who it
bring up
is.
Valerie first.
Okay. I have no idea who this person is. Nope.
What's up, bitches?
What's up?
Ow!
Hi, Tyson.
How the hell are you? My God, it's been a dog's life since I've seen you.
Yeah.
Are you saying I look very young? That's
No, I said a dog's life, meaning a span of time.
I know. I was messing with you, David. So I have a question. You promised me something.
Yes, the prime rib.
But I kind of need you to tell the story first. Is it true that Kesha had ghostly sex in the downstairs room?
No, she didn't have ghostly sex. The story goes is she was interviewed by a Japanese magazine, and in the article she said that she has a haunted vagina.
And then, but she said it happened at your house, and I was like, you know what? Ding ding.
What?
That's the story I heard too. Was that Kesha was at your house and she had sex with a ghost?
Yeah,
no, she was here. She came here with her mom during the lawsuit against the Sony record producer. She was out here, and her mom came in with Scott Michaels at the Little Predators and the Helter Skelter tours, and Scott brought her up here for a private tour. And so she was here, and we took some pictures, and I got all the video of her in the house, obviously. No, I just
did you get any pictures of the ghost sex?
She didn't have ghost sex, and I can verify this. I have the video to prove it.
All right, well, I do. One other question: do you have the video still that Manu and I left you in your office?
Hold on one moment.
It's Kesha saying, "I did too have sex with a ghost at your house." This is Kesha.
The barbecues, yes, it's already started. It'll be another hour and a half.
Barbecues.
That's all.
And ghosts.
Barbecues, yes. Well, what the fuck else would there be at the Oman house? Good food and good ghosts.
Yeah.
Good spirits.
But okay, you still have the video of Manu and I that we left you in your office as a gift?
We didn't know we were on camera.
Oh my God!
I honestly didn't know that there was such a that. No, I don't.
I'm glad that got erased.
Years ago, it's news to me now. You said, David, would you save the video clip from you? I was like, sure, I would have, but you didn't tell me. So no, I didn't even know that you guys.
So why is Black Jack Johnson on the cover of the Cielo Ghosts of Cielo Drive?
His name was Jack Johnson, not Black Jack Johnson.
Well, that's what they called him back in the day.
They called him Jack Johnson. They didn't call him Black Jack.
Yes, they did. I know.
That's Black Jack Pershing. And
I
that
have
was General George Pershing. I mean,
no.
Hold on, the internet just blew up. Manu has been canceled for being not.
No, you can say that. And by the way, Mos Def did a whole song about Black Jack Johnson, the fighter. So he was called Black Jack.
I'm glad somebody wrote a song about him 100 years later, and that changes his nickname from 100 years ago. He wasn't called Black Jack Johnson ever. Sorry.
Well, what did they call him then? Just Jack Johnson?
Yes.
You're telling me 100 years ago, when everyone was racist, they didn't call this guy Black Jack Johnson. Come on.
No.
Okay, so why is Mr. Jack Johnson?
Smoke, they called him. I think there was Smoke.
Morning.
Whatever. Let's not digress. Let's talk about the ghost. Why is Jack?
Yeah.
Is everybody frozen?
Yeah. Why is Jack? No, just you. Why is Jack? Why is Jack on the cover?
Because his spirit's been seen here by other people. His story's in the book.
Wow. So people have seen him in the house?
The story goes this. My brother-in-law's sister and her two friends came to visit the house the first time here. The two friends went down the staircase to the second floor landing, looked down the hallway, came running up the stairs 2 seconds after they got down there. And I said, what's the matter? He goes, who's the big black guy at the end of the hall? I said, what?
Wow.
He said, who's the big black guy at the end of the hall? This guy's sticking his head up and behind the doorway going, is it safe? And then ducking back. And he did it twice. And then he was like, I got freaked out. And I ran upstairs. My friend saw him as well. And I'm like, You didn't go down to my. So we took him down to the office, and they went in my office, and I said, "That's him." My office at the time had about 800 pieces of Jack Johnson memorabilia, including photographs and personal belongings of him all over the place in frames.
Loves pictures, photographs, personal belongings. Incredible fighter and an incredible story.
Yeah.
So you think that maybe just because you had so much of his personal stuff that he was attached or visited the room?
No, the reason why I have all the personal stuff is because his spirit's been around me for many, 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 many years. That's why I started collecting, was because of his spirit.
Oh, wow. Are you a boxing fan or?
Not really a boxing fan. I was a fan of his since I was a kid. So, I mean, I started collecting when I was young, and, you know, I just kept collecting. I didn't know why, and I kept waking up in the middle of the night, things like, get up. It's like, why? He goes, go on eBay right now. Something just got listed from the UK. It's like, it's 3, 4 in the morning, man. Come on. Get up. So I get up. I go look on eBay, and boom, just listed 10 minutes earlier. Another fine antique photograph from Jack. And it's like, he said, go send him an email right now. It's 8 hours later from now. He's up. Go send him an email and tell him you'll offer him $200 for the photograph. I'm like, are you serious? All right, fine, I'll do it. Because
He is probably who had sex with Kesha.
No one had sex with Kesha in this house. If you want to come over and watch the 2 hours of video footage from start to finish of her walking through the house, you'll see it didn't happen.
Okay, I will watch it. If she does even the littlest.
What's even worse? No, stop. What's worse is she was here. She has her own show now about the paranormal and ghost hunting. Did you think I'd ever hear 2 words from her saying, "Let's do a show in your house, Dave. Let's do an episode"?
Oh, you'd think, but Hollywood is, not friendly. Most people.
I do have one other question though, because this is real about So when
this is real. There's a big mess going on in Israel right now. What else do you want to talk to us
Don't
about?
talk about Israel right now.
She just said this is real.
This is real.
It is real, but I want to talk about.
She said it again. Well, let's hear about what is about Israel. Tell us.
No. I wanted to
just say this. Just go on with your question.
My experience. I'm saying.
Who's up first?
This is an actual experience I had there, and I want to ask him about it.
Okay.
So when
whatever you do with Mono in my goddamn office is between you and Mono. I don't want to have to be telling you about your sex life, honey. The fact that I found out about this years later, that's really interesting.
We told you the night of.
Will you go on? Okay, go. What's the question?
So when you go downstairs and you go into that room down by the laundry room, and it's
with the dirt.
The hallway. No, she's talking about the hallway.
The hallway.
Oh.
When you enter that room, there's a completely different vibe.
Hold on, are you talking about the laundry room, or are you talking about the 3rd floor earthen wall room?
Earthen wall room.
All right, so I was wrong. All right, yes, there's something definitely strange about that room sometimes. Right.
Like when I was in there, I just felt someone with me. But
that was mine, wasn't it?
No one was there. You guys
were. You felt a presence when you were in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I didn't feel like intimidated or scared, but it was strong.
It was present.
So I was just wondering if you could tell people more about that room and what people have, you've had experts there and what the deal is with that room.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I have any pictures in that room. No, Monty, you have the video of the butcher block. That would be probably the best video to show of that room, since that's got the room and the dirt they're showing.
Okay, I saw when we started the opening and we showed your intro about who you are and where you live, etc. I saw a picture of a Native American spirit or a Native American face.
A picture of a Native American.
Not a spirit, but of a Native American. What is the connection to the Native Americans in the area?
Well, about a mile away from here on Benedict Canyon and what is that? That would be Chevy Chase Drive is the Beverly Hills First Women's Club. And you saw the clip where it shows the boulder and the placard on the boulder. That placard is on a rock there that sits there, and it says, in 1925, when ground was first broken for the Beverly Hills First Women's Club, the remains of 3 Native Americans were found from an earlier battle between the early Californians and the Native Americans. As it turns out, in 1842, before the city of LA was developed, as we know it, not as we know it, but it was developed, so to speak, and was in the U.S. control. The woman that owned the ranchero that was comprised of 4,500 acres of land, which included Benedict Canyon all the way down to Wilshire Boulevard, or the Olympic Boulevard, and towards the east of La Brea Drive, all the way down through Beverly Hills. She had her ranchero there. Well, in 1842, the Native Americans were basically forced up and out of the prime real estate, so to speak, and into the hills. And they used to make raid parties that would raid her ranchero. Well, in 1842, on this date, they went down, they made a raid, and the ranch hands basically started a running battle between them and the Native Americans, which ended on that spot, which is now Benedict Canyon and Chevy Chase Drive. And whereas now the Beverly Hills First Women's Club was all part of the Walnut Grove up there. And 3 Native Americans were shot and killed on the spot and buried there. The rest of the raiding party went back up into the hills.
And there was a psychic that visited your house at some point in that room and said that there was possibly a Native American in that dirt.
Yeah, about 16 years ago, in 2006 or 7, Lisa Williams, the famous English psychic, came to the house apropos of the show that we were on, Ghost Hunters, and said, I want to see the house. And it's like, not to shoot your show. And she goes, no, I'm curious. I want to see this house for myself. I'm be interested. So she came and she saw it, and she was the first person to say, oh, there's a Native American on horseback who's interred in this mound of earth under your house. And I'm like, huh? And she says that he was riding on the horse path that was now the driveway, and his horse lost its footing and fell down the hillside, and the horse and the rider both broke their necks, and their bodies and remains were basically left on the side of the hill, decomposed, and through the years, their remains were basically buried to the mudslides into this mound of earth that is now the house, under the house.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
that really did get fucked, and the horse he rode in on. That's really, really bad. My goodness.
Yeah, fuck you, and the horse you rode in on. Yeah, I guess you could say he got fucked too. Yes.
Well, I've seen that. You showed us the pictures of how steep that hill is. Yeah, that would be a terrible ending.
Thing is, after that experience, one of the psychics that was there, I don't know if you remember this, but you said too that you would sometimes see things on the ridge that look like, and she said she heard them and saw them, like Native Americans on horseback up on top of that ridge riding.
There's a ridge behind David's house that's the top of the hill, basically.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. There's no. They destroyed the top of the hill now. They've got
what?
3 houses were destroyed to build this mega mansion above my house now.
Oh, everyone that lives there is going to die.
Of that, okay. So there, any of that was left historically is gone now. Okay, well, that was my experience there. Like one of them. There have been many.
Yeah.
Yes, we know about one of them very well now.
No, we actually didn't do anything. It was just a joke.
We were faking for the camera to see if
we left you a present.
We faked orgasm as well, there, Manu.
A ghostgasm.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. All right, we've got.
I think we've got my chair a little sticky that night. God damn.
I love you guys.
My office chair had more people have sex in it than I have. Good to know.
Thanks for coming on, Valerie.
I love you, David, and hopefully we'll
nice to see you, Val. Look forward to you coming back to visit. We'll make the prime rib when you come.
We're coming.
The visit, that is.
We'll be up there. Don't worry.
Anyway, I'm going with
a good
for the prime rib.
Well, you get So,
You
all right.
can write off the expense then.
And actually, David, we've been actually buying because we've been getting into
Oh,
it. SLS cameras and EVP stuff. Can we bring it and do a little search of our own?
Don't waste your money.
Well, we already did. So
Then stop. Don't buy any more shit.
If we could,
Why don't you ask me before you spend $1? My God.
well, where do we get the good stuff? Who's got the good stuff?
You don't buy it. You don't waste your time on the crap. It does not work. It is when you start walking around with the device that's supposed to be meant to be stationary, objects that are stationary appear to the machine to be in movement.
No, man. Listen, I went on my first ghost hunt ever in Florida, and we had a stationary SLS
here
camera.
we go.
We had a stationary SLS camera, and it was sitting at a bar, and I had 30 minutes of an encounter with an SLS figure that was sitting at that bar that had died a month earlier. He was cheering me. He was high-fiving me. He was going up into the rafters and doing this kind of emotion like he wanted to play, he wanted to fight, and it was locked off. It was
Breaker 19. I've got about 20 minutes while Manu goes through the story. You want to talk?
I'm done with the story. All right. Next.
Are you positive they had the SLS camera stationary, Manu? And
yes.
by the way, I read in comprehensive detail, you must have the whole area around you obscure, removes all objects that
all people, all movement. Yeah.
No, not all movement, meaning a chair. A chair, it will map. Manu's like, no, it can't. It's like, yes.
Yeah, but why would it map a person sitting in the chair that when I asked him to cheers me, its hand would cheers me? When I asked him to double high five me,
that's not cheers, Manu.
It would double high five me. All right.
This is not double high fiving you.
I'm going to get the footage from this ghost hunting team. I'm going to show you. It's going to blow your mind. All right.
Before we go to the next speaker, I just want to say, Valerie, beautiful dress. We love that. It's a billion comments in the chat. Love it.
Oh, real quick, guys. I just want to know if anyone recognizes this candle, and if you do, you're my friend for life. I'm gonna.
I don't even recognize that candle. So am I out?
Roger, you are out.
Katie would be the one to recognize it. Katie, feel free to unmute.
I put a spell on you. God, you.
Oh, Hocus Pocus.
I can't see it.
Oh yeah, Doug Jones.
It's black flame candle, guys.
Black flame candle, Hocus Pocus.
Look how detailed.
I didn't watch Hocus Pocus. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, we're gonna have to kick out our guest. Come on. All right.
Up next, we have Dave.
Dave Hildebrand, what do you have to say to David Oman?
Well, I'd say I gotta. Well, first, gotta give props with what you're talking about, the loud bangs in your house, because Manu and I live in the same city, and I've kept an eye on the house and the cat while they're out of town. And there was like one Saturday night, I was down in the basement doing laundry, and all of a sudden there's this god awful bang, and it freaked me out. I actually kind of screamed a little, probably a lot.
Screamed a lot. I heard you screamed like I don't remember what you put it, but like a
boy more scream.
There you go.
Oh, I remember how Manu put it. He said like a bitch.
Yeah, like a bitch. That's what I said. I said Dave screamed like a bitch. No, we have heard bangs in our houses and in our house, and Dave was cat sitting and he heard something that terrified him. So do you hear bangs in your house? Like almost like cop knocks is what I heard. What did you hear, Dave?
Maybe
it was just the in the closet of the basement down there. It was just like one big boom.
Ooh.
Wow. Just like I mean, it was
definitely
not like a little knock at the door. It was like a pow.
Is this something you've heard in your house, David?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a video from like 2 years ago, about 1:45 in the morning, where I was walking down the hallway, and I'm thinking to myself, spirits, I got you covered. And I throw my left hand up, and almost as like an acknowledgement, I hear knock, knock. And I stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, And I like for 10 seconds, I'm thinking the wheels are turning. I'm thinking, all right, it can't be a burglar because what kind of a burglar wants to let himself be known that I'm in the house? I said, okay, so the burglar's out. And I said, oh shit, it's a ghost. And I said, but I didn't say anything. I just thought something.
Now I've got a question. I've seen on Paranormal caught on camera. It was a school. I forget where it was. I think it was in Russia somewhere. But they show this room, this locker room, where the lockers just fly open, and a chair just sitting in the hallway gets kicked, and is that?
That's poltergeist activity. Stuff that happens here. I mean, we've had a chair go from one room to the other on its own. We've had a glass of wine slide across the dining room table in front of 7 people. I don't consider that poltergeist activity. The shit you're talking about, that's poltergeist activity because they're letting you know that they're there in a way that's so overt and offensive almost, because the banging, it's anger, it's frustration. There's a lot of tension there. The stuff that happens here, we have recorded voices saying fucking pricks. We've got voices saying fuck you. We've got voices saying shit. Catch you later. I mean, I've got, not through little devices. I mean, just like
I feel like these souls might have been in the Navy at some point because I'm hearing some sailor talk there.
Could be kids, high school kids.
Yeah, all right.
Oh no, you know what? But possibly the kids that were, going up there doing that fucked up shit. Wait a second. So are these EVPs or are these just voices that were actually?
I call them disembodied voices because EVPs is electronic voice phenomena, which really refers to the spirit box, the echo box, and we have the video on the video from this month, from this year, from March. It's got EVPs, which are spirit box voices, but I've got recorded here disembodied voices, like the video from Hi John from July a few years ago, where my friend was visiting as he was going back to move to Georgia. He was visiting for a day or so, and I heard the spirit say to me, he goes, we're going to miss him. We liked him. I was like, hey, John, the spirit said they're going to miss you. I said, oh, yeah, by the way, I got to go downstairs and take care of some stuff in my office. So I go downstairs, and John's here by himself at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of summer, and he hears this woman's voice say, hi, John. And he goes, hey, David, are there any girls in this house? And it's like, no, John, we're here by ourselves. He goes, no, man, I just heard a woman's voice say, hi, John. We reviewed 3 of the cameras in that room.
What is the video of that? Is that the 150 feet or the aftermath?
That's July. That's Hi, John, July.
July 17th incident, EVP. Let's show it.
Pull that up. All right.
Yeah, let's see it.
Wait, you said July 17th.
July 17th.
Hi there, this is David Oman coming to you from the Oman House. That's right, on Hansela Drive, right down the street from where Sharon Tate's house used to stand. What I'm about to share with you is a video shot July 17th, 2020, during the pandemic. My friend John Doherty was coming to visit from San Luis Obispo on his way to Georgia, where he was moving. Now, John had been down here several times in the past couple of years and had plenty of experiences here. But this was pretty much going to be his farewell tour to L.A. And when he came here, he was unpacking his bags. It was late in the afternoon, early evening. And I was talking to him, and I was in the kitchen. And I said to him right before the video, which you will see, was shot, I said, I just heard a voice from the spirit saying they're going to miss you. And I said, look, I just remembered I have some things I've got to take care of downstairs, so I'm going downstairs to my office. Mind you, it was just he and I in the house. On the top floor, Jonathan, as you'll see in the video, was in the kitchen unpacking his bags. And you'll see the video for yourself. By the way, want to take this time to plug my book, Ghosts of Cielo Drive. That's right, Ghosts of Cielo Drive at ghostofcielodrive.com. One more time, Ghosts of Cielo Drive. It's a story about, it's my story living up here in Cielo Drive. In any event, enjoy the video, and please subscribe to my channel. David Oman, youtube.com/David Oman, O-M-A-N. Thank you very much, and enjoy the video. Hey, David, is there a woman in here? No. Somebody just whispered my name. Where in the fuck? Right here. Write down the time, John. You know the routine. You've been here enough times. Write down the time. Hi, John. Write down the time. What time? It literally was a minute ago. Hey, David, is there a woman in here? No. Somebody just whispered my name. Where the fuck? Right here. Write down the time, John. You know the routine. You've been here enough times. Write down the time. Hi, John. Write down the time. What time? It literally was a minute ago. Hey, David, is there a woman in here? No. Somebody just whispered my name. Where in the fuck? Right here. Write down the time, John. You know the routine. You've been here enough times. Write down the time. Hi, John. Write down the time.
What's
So it
strange?
looks like.
What's
Yeah, it
strange?
looks like. Go ahead.
What's strange about that video is not only do I hear "Hey John," but it seems like there's another voice after it that says a little something. Do you not know?
I heard it too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tyson. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say it looks like you own stock in a picture frame company based on the opening of that. So, are you the CEO and owner of Frame It? Because I think I've seen your commercial on TV before.
All of that
Love
was part of my
that.
museum of Jack Johnson. It's all gone. It's all gone. I'm miserable.
And it's not Black Jack Johnson. It's just Jack Johnson.
It sure was. I disagree. I'll prove him wrong in the next episode down the road. His name was Black Jack Johnson.
His name was Jack Johnson. He was called the Big Smoke. He was never called Black Jack Johnson. That's like retarded.
Well, all right.
I'm just telling you. Somebody wants to say something about him 100 years after he's gone. You know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's not. They referred to him as the Big Smoke, the Galveston Giant was a couple of his nicknames. Old Little Arthur was his nickname as well, but never Black Jack Johnson.
Beautiful picture frames is where I was going with that. Thank you. Next caller.
honestly, if you like those picture frames, I got about 300 freaking picture frames from 5x7s to 16x20s to 18x24s.
So he does. I got him. He does own Frame It. So
no, I have all the frames because I got rid of all the pictures. They're all gone.
You sold all of your Black Jack Johnson memorabilia?
His name was Jack freaking Johnson. Jack Ho. Jesus.
Yeah. You sold all of it?
Jack
All of
it? There, Mr. Manu.
No, he was the man. I mean, that guy was one of the best fighters ever to exist in time.
He was the first African-American heavyweight boxing champion.
Knocked people out. And the gloves they wore back then, and they fought like unlimited rounds.
Sometimes they fought us. You know, they fought some fights went to 80 rounds. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so you got rid of all of that stuff?
All it's gone.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That's hard.
I'm sorry. I'm terribly disappointed. I still have the holes in the wall looking at it, thinking, I gotta paint this wall. There's all these holes where the pictures been. So I've literally got 300 frames.
Did you do an auction or something?
I took it to an auction house. I'm now dealing with the aftermath of the auction house is screwing up. They still haven't put me back on my memorabilia. It's really what the pisser is. There's like 50 grand worth of memorabilia they haven't returned.
You gotta love America and the awful business.
Stay away from Golden Auctions, Goldin. He's got a show on the King of Collectibles. Stay away from that auction house. They are terrible.
The general business practices of all companies, it seems, in America these days are going downhill.
On the handbasket.
Yeah. Dave Hildebrand, you've got a question.
Yeah. Aside from your domicile, what's like the most haunted location that you've been to that you're willing to share?
That's a good question. Shit. Outside of this place, not a lot of places come close to this place for the amount of activity that I've honestly seen. And I mean, I've been to the Winchester Mystery House before it became blown up, because it never was. It was always known as the Winchester Mystery House. It was, I mean, I was there, God, 30 years ago now, when it was just, you know, it wasn't owned by the Japanese conglomerate that ended up buying and turning it into a gosh darn mega mansion of death and destruction and the movies and all. I mean, it was supposedly, you know, haunted. It was interesting, but it wasn't like blown out like, oh my God, there's spirits all over the place. They're running around. I'll tell you where. The place down in San Diego.
The Whaley House. I was about to say that.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah, I live in San Diego, so it was the Whaley House. And yes, that place was bad.
Yeah, I went there. Oh, well, I also went down when I was a kid. We went to Mexico City and we went to Teotihuacan. I went to the on top of the pyramid there that you have in the courtyard. I remember going to the top, and it's like I walked all the way to the top of the pyramid, went to that room where they had the sacrifices, the people that were going to be sacrificed were held, and it was just a small little room. It was just ceremonial, but that burned an impression in my mind of, wow, this place has got lots of energy. Like,
yeah,
that was, you know, that and the Whaley House are the two places I've been to that I've noticed, you know.
Whaley House.
The Whaley House was lived in by a judge. This is in Old Town San Diego, and there was a courtroom there, and there was a tree out back where hangings would take place if somebody was sentenced to death. Yep. Now you have to remember, in the 1800s, there was no 20-year appeal process, no death row, no. Jeez. If you were sentenced to death,
it was quick. Let's just cut to the chase.
It was pretty quick.
There was no appeal system.
So a lot of people
tried you. You were found guilty. You were hung the next week.
Right. It was very quick, and yeah, a lot of people died at the Whaley House. The judge sentenced them to death, and there they hung. They were from Europe. You'll see a lot of the wallpaper has the fleur de lis all over the kind of the looks like the Boy Scout logo, the fleur de lis, wallpapered all over it. It's very, very beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But they still have the old courtroom there. You can go look at the courtroom. You can look at the
from behind the glass, as ever colored partition. They don't want you going in.
Yeah,
because it's
very spectacular.
Oh yeah, place has got lots of energy. Woo.
Did you? I got Valerie text me like crazily saying she wants your frames.
Please, I mean, I said, please buy them from me. I mean, they're all the same. They're all flat black, almost 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch. They're perfect.
She wants them all.
So the Whaley House. When you were at the Whaley House,
you better go ship them back out to Colorado with you, then, or drive out.
Yeah, or try that. They'll all shatter. Every one of them will shatter.
I must have spent over the course of the time. Must have spent over $10,000 in frames, because there's literally 300 to 400 frames.
Wow. Yeah, well, we need to get to 1, 2, 3, 4 more callers. Just
oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's end the show with these 4 callers. Who's next?
Up next, we have Katie.
Hey, Katie.
All the way from England. Katie, thank you for staying up. I know it's late. Or early.
Oh, my gosh, early in the morning.
It's early.
And you want to turn on your mic, Katie. Your mic's off.
4 in the freaking morning there.
There you go.
Darling.
The hell are you doing up at 20 to 4? You looking for ghosts or something?
I don't sleep.
Oh, that makes sense. She's a vampire.
Yeah, I have insomnia.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I've had so many experiences. I've lived in a haunted pub, and I've lived in places that have
You
been
lived in
directly
a pub?
airline.
The conspiracy
Oh
says
yeah,
you lived in a pub. Oh my God.
yeah, and that was
You lived
really
above. They said you lived above the pub.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing, yeah.
Yeah, and
You live in a pub.
that was really active. I've lived in a house that's been really active, and I've as active as anything's been. I mean, I've been on ghost hunts as well. But I've only ever had one experience that has absolutely terrified me because I don't scare easily. And I was just wondering, have you ever had an experience that has like made you like run like hell out of your own house?
No, I mean,
No.
the only thing that people have asked me when I first saw the first and only apparition I've ever seen, which was Jay Sebring in the middle of the night. I mean, I fell asleep. I remember for some reason I popped my eyes open. I was like, I felt like I slept for 8 hours. And in fact, it was 3 minutes I was sleeping. And my eyes drifted to the foot of the bed. And literally, this is the corner of the bed is right at this point here. And literally 3 feet away is this guy, full body, just standing there. And I'm like, it's dark. So the room is dark, but he's illuminated. Now, in art, when I took art classes, we were taught, is the source of light above? Is it below? Is the shadows behind him? And he was the source of freaking light. He was like,
wow.
Like, it was like he was just light, but he was a full body. He looked like a person, but he wasn't color. He was in shades of gray. And I was like, oh shit. I'm thinking, and I sat there and I didn't get scared. I was like, and most people said, I would have run out of acid and screamed murder. It's like, well, considering the situation under which the circumstances that he found me in, meaning my mom was dying at the time of cancer, of pancreatic cancer. So, and my girlfriend at the time was flying through Europe as a flight attendant, working the European tour that time. And at the moment when he appeared, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's an emissary spirit here to tell me that my mother's just died or that my girlfriend's just died. So I didn't freak out. I was like, okay, what do you got to tell me? What do you got to tell me? And people said, well, why is that? And it's like, well, I didn't recognize him as anybody I knew. And later on, months later, when I was at the LAPD doing research for the book, I saw a picture and it said Jay Sebring with his natural hairstyle. And what I mean is, you see the way my hair is straight. This guy was dressed in a suit with a short lapel, 4 buttons down, and his hair was kind of kinky. So where mine is straight and Jay's was straight because he had hair relaxant that he created and put into men's hair to get the kinks out to make it straight because that was the look of the 60s. His hair was coarse and kinked over. I didn't recognize him as Jay Sebring. So when he appeared, I was like, oh, okay, what are you here to tell me? And all he did was point and turn his torso 3 times towards the street, going down the street, and that was it. And then it vaporized. And I spent the next hour walking around the house going, what the fuck was that? What did it mean? What did it mean? Thinking that I'm going to hear from my dad in the morning, yeah, your mom just died in the middle of the night, David. Or that my girlfriend's, somebody was going to relay to me a story that my girlfriend was killed in Europe or something. So that was probably the most interesting and strange of seeing an apparition. Another time was coming down the stairs into the living room at around 2 a.m. and seeing what appeared to be a light from under the door leading into the bathroom. And I walked down and I realized that as I walked into that door that was there, it wasn't a physical door. And then I stuck my hand out and it vanished. That perplexed the shit out of me because it was like the door is 3 feet further in than what I thought was the door that I just walked into and I recoiled back from.
I have a question for you, David, and you seem to be pretty expert on this. I lost somebody I love very much in '97, and I remember I was crying and my eyes were red and teary, and I remember I was laying on my bed and I looked up, and I felt the presence of that person, and I saw what I thought was a wisp of smoke, not form. It was formless, shapeless, no color to it, just almost as if I had been smoking a cigarette and smoke,
So,
but there was
right,
no, but there was no. It was just a wisp. But I felt it was that person. Was I just imagining through hazy eyes from crying, or could it have been that person?
It was probably most likely my belief it was that person. Only
Wow.
because I told people this before when they come in the house, they said, look, if something happens and you have something, you feel a tug on your ear, you hear a voice, you feel a presence of warmth, or somebody's grabbing your arm and there's no one there. I said, the first person that pops into your head.
Fucking Manu.
I said, the first person that pops into your head is who it is. And they said, why is that? I said, because you're here looking for Sharon Tate or somebody that died 50 some odd years ago down the street. I said, let me put it to you this way. Put yourself in their shoes. What's in it for them that they're going to struggle to make an appearance to you and use all that energy to kind of like manifest because you're their biggest fan? I don't think that's of any qualification that the spirit's going to manifest. But if it's somebody you knew, somebody that you're friends with, somebody that's passed away, that's a relative, and they're manifesting, it's going to happen here in the house. So that's what I said is the first person that pops into your head is most likely who it is.
And the smoke phenomenon, the ectoplasm phenomenon, you earlier showed us a cloud of smoke or mist around your couch. These are not uncommon sights.
Well, again, when I'm taking the pictures, at the time I'm taking, you have to remember, I think we went through probably about 5-6 rolls that night. And those were like, I forgot how many exposures, 32 exposures, I think, per roll. It's like 200 photographs. Of 200 photographs, I have 3 that were unique with interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like I'm sitting there saying to you, oh yeah, spirit, stop, pose, smile, click, thank you. No, I'm randomly just taking pictures, just snap, snap, snap. I don't know what the hell I'm seeing because I'm not seeing anything physically. What the camera's capturing is what the camera's capturing.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of this at the time.
No, and I'm also a big fan of the paranormal and UAPs and all the interesting stuff that is occurring on our planet. And the smoke phenomenon, the like you said, Ghostbusters earlier, the ectoplasm phenomenon, that is seen all over the place with lost souls, and I'm not lost souls, but lost loved ones and ghosts, etc. So I think you probably saw something.
Class 5 free roaming vapor. Yeah.
It
was
stuff as well.
Your cigarette was smoldering and you didn't know it. Really, that's what it was. No, I'm just saying that I don't know what it was that you saw, but as far as I can't argue with what you felt.
I did feel, and that was the thing. I felt, what I saw, I can't even be sure, through red, rubby eyes, if I really saw that wisp of smoke or not. But I know what I felt.
But you can't argue with your feelings because, as I was trying to go back to what I was saying to Manu, buying these gadgets and toys in the 5th generation, it's overkill. Buy a few pieces and that's it, and don't waste your time on everything else because there's no shortcut to paranormal activity being recorded. You need to have a digital recorder or even a cassette recorder, and it takes time. It's like the old thing about fishing. You know why people drink when they're on a boat fishing? Because it's boring as fucking hell waiting for a fish to bite. Same for a ghost.
Yeah. Well, also, we've caught a couple of pretty neat EVPs as well with this equipment. Katie, did you have another question?
Yeah, just one last one, because I've had experience with this as well. Have you ever suffered any form of harm or injury from spirit?
No. And I've had people that have been saved from injury from falling down the stairwell in one case. We were doing a podcast here, and I'll never forget the father, the guy, the husband, it was a mother, 2 people and their kid came here to the house. Their son was 10 years old, and he was carrying a box of equipment and down the stairs. And the father was behind him, wearing a backpack, which is important, which had a leather grip around the top. And he was carrying a bigger box of equipment that was heavier. As I recall, the father was about 7 feet from the landing going down to the bottom of the stairs. As he was going down, he goes, all of a sudden he's lost his footing and his son's in front of him and he's feeling himself lean, like falling forward. All of a sudden, he says, he feels something pull him back by the strap on the backpack behind him. There was no one there behind him. And he said, it saved my ass. Otherwise, I would have come down and basically ran into my son and pushed him right into the wall at the bottom of the landing.
That's beautiful that a lot of people, especially on these shows that are trying to promote ghosts and creepy things, and
I just heard the spirits trying to vilify ghosts. Ghosts aren't trying to hurt anyone. I'm sorry.
No.
It's like, come join the
party.
I'm
not saying they're trying. I'm not saying at all that they're trying, but sometimes when I've done mediumship work and things like that, and sometimes they do come a little bit close, and it can cause a few problems sometimes.
Well, I think that some people get affected because I've had people that have been here before that have had experiences. Here's an example. A friend of mine was here at the house. We went to the earthen wall room and he comes screaming out. He goes, oh my God. He says, is it David? It happened. I said, what? He goes, I went in the room and something scratched me. And I said, So we watched the video. He goes in the room and you see the back of his collar lift up like this. And then he's like this, the part of his back where he couldn't reach from behind or above is a little burn mark. And I said to him, yeah, okay, but this is all because of you. And he goes, what do you mean it's because of me? I said, the spirits just told me, saying he gave us a bitchy little ass attitude and said he wants physical proof. Right before he went into the earthen wall room. So I said, when you went into the earthen wall room,
they gave you what you asked for.
I said, did you sit there with a snide little comment and thought, say, well, spirits, if you're here, give me some physical proof, like your doubting Thomas asked. And he goes, how did you know? How did you know? I said, because I heard the spirit say that to me. That's what you said before you walked in the room. And they said he got what he asked for, physical proof. I said,
but if you walk into that room with love and humility, is that what you walk out with?
Well, it's an attitude. People get cocky and get pretentious and verbose and get, oh, you don't exist. And I've had another friend of mine, Nathan, who was in the guest bedroom right in front of the earthen wall room, who was there a few Halloweens at a party years ago, and he had his cell phone in his hand. And he said, well, Sharon, if you're here, why don't you make your presence felt? Like taunting her. The next thing you know is the freaking iPhone flies out of his hand 3 feet, hits the screen door because the window was open, and it falls to the ground. He's sitting there like this going, and there's one woman's coming out of the bathroom, and two women that are in the room just said, oh my God, I just saw that. Holy crap, I can't believe I just saw the phone fly out of your hands and hit the screen.
So I guess the question is the opposite also true? So if you go in with love and humility and you say, I'm here to respect you, I'm here to, I come here to hope the best for you and me and everything. Do you walk out with that also? Is there good that comes, not just bad for being a jerk?
I don't think it's about what you say. It's about what you have in your heart, which is hard for people to comprehend because people are so accustomed to hearing things.
Yeah.
Lip service. You can talk your ass off. They know what the hell the truth is. They know what the lay of the land is. They said, are you kidding?
It's like a metal detector, but a spirit detector. You walk through and they know what your soul is.
They know who you are. You can't hide. You can't bullshit a freaking ghost is what I'm saying. And I mean this because when I walk down the hallway on that video on my YouTube channel and I'm thinking, spirits, I got you covered, and I do this. And then I hear the knock, and it's like, they can read my freaking mind. There is no safe haven. You can't hide from a spirit. They know exactly who you are to the inner being of who you are.
Of course, and especially if you're related to them, all right, we have one more person, or did they leave?
Actually, we had two others, and they both had to drop because of time.
Oh, come back on, kids. Come on. Come on.
We lost Zach and we lost Javier.
Yeah.
Javier, come back on. Come on.
Well, he's my brother-in-law. He texted me and said, "I'm sorry, I have to go to sleep." He's got
Oh,
kids.
come on. I'll tell you a story about one of the best EVPs, best disembodied voices we captured here, which was during a seance, and it's actually in Spanish.
What did it say?
Well, a couple of years, it was like 7, 8 years ago, we had a seance here, and it was one of the ghost investigation tours. And this woman was sitting at the end of the table next to one of the psychics, and I'm in the middle of the tables, and I'm listening to the seance. They said, stop the seance. And we had 2 psychics, one at each end, Al McCary at one end, may she rest in peace, and Lily Caron Willis at the other end of the table. And they said, what are you stopping for? I said, I heard a voice. Stop the gosh darn seance. I said, we need to. So we rewind the 3 recorders on the table. And the first one we played, and you hear a man's voice go, let it go, mija. And I was like, holy shit. Second one, same thing. Third one, same thing. The guy who's videotaping it says, let me rewind this, and they listen back. Oh shit, I captured the same voice. After the seance, this woman comes up to us and says, I got a confession, because my dad died 5 years ago of cancer. I haven't been able to go on with my life since he died. That's him telling me.
No doubt.
No llores por mi Argentina, mi alma está contigo, mi vida entera. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for me. Don't cry for me. No llores por mi Argentina. Yeah, my singing career got me jailed.
Yeah, Madonna, right. God, I know. I saw the play.
Okay, so we have gone an hour overtime, but we want to thank.
Wow, doesn't that suck? Too bad.
No, it's great. It's great.
I want to hear the 2 gosh darn questions from the callers. Come on.
I know they took off, but
come back on.
I do want to
finish mine.
I do want to thank David Oman for stopping by, and we wouldn't go an hour overtime if the show wasn't interesting.
Oh,
so go grab David's book, Ghosts of Cielo Drive, at ghostsofcielodrive.com. Also,
watch the movie.
Watch the movie. It's not.
You can't watch the movie. I haven't sold it. That's for you to help make some money on.
Yeah. If there's any people out there that want to sell House at the End of the Drive, just go ahead and contact me at.
If you want to buy the freaking movie for your network, buy the movie. We'll do good publicity with the House.
The actors' strike is happening right now. This is the time that somebody should put this film on the air. If any of
it's
it,
a true independent.
It's already made.
House at the End of the Drive. Contact me, monoandterami@gmail.com. Or if you want to give out your Gmail, you can.
No, you crazy.
Yeah, so contact me.
And I'll
contact David for you.
Thank you, Wally. I appreciate it. Sorry I haven't been reading the comments the whole time.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I had so many other questions to ask, but that's all right. We'll do another show another time.
Red Baron, cool.
This was the first of our Halloween episodes. Thank you for tuning in to Dangerous Thoughts for a complete 2 hours almost tonight. And thanks, David Oman, for stopping by. Thanks for being our guest. And I can't wait to see you when I get back to Hollywood at the end of the month.
Have some fucking loot. We're going to throw down a gosh darn 8-pound barbecue prime rib roast.
And you're going to introduce me to a full corporal image of Sharon Tate. All right. We'll see you guys next time on Dangerous Thoughts next weekend for our second part Halloween episode. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Happy Halloween.